What's really good? I am MTV Malik. He is Ace Metaphor. This is 224 The Basement. What's really good? What's popping with you, Ace?
Man, honestly, I'm just happy to be black and alive. That's that's a fucking accomplishment these days. So yeah, shout out to that.
Shout
And
out to
shout
that.
out to this fucking 211, bro. Like, I swear, did they change the formula?
211?
Bro, this shit is delicious. Like,
Damn, that's the shit we drink in college. Like, blackout in a can is what they called it.
I pray that it still has that same effect.
Dude, it's 11:19 a.m.
Time is an illusion. Okay,
that's not true at all. Time
clocks are not real.
Well, the thing is, we started going live a couple of weeks ago, and it come to my attention that everybody might not know exactly who you are or what you bring to the table. Everybody know me. I'm MTV Malik. I'm just an asshole on Twitter. But who are you?
Me? All right. Well, let me break it down with my normal intro. All right. So it's me. It is indeed the ACE. I am Ken Masters, aka Ace Metaphor, your friendly neighborhood 1245 music representative. I am a hip hop recording artist. I am a conversational English teacher. I am black. I am fucking proud as shit of that. And I am constantly, consistently, earnestly, and sincerely disappointed by the human race at least 25 times a day. Yeah, that's a pretty good rundown.
That's why I realized we fucked up with this podcast. You got two pessimists. Where's the fucking bright side?
Yo, I honestly, I have a problem with talking about good news. I really have if it doesn't have anything to do with video games, I find it difficult to talk about good shit.
Okay. Fuck the intro. Let's jump right into video games. So right now, I am currently replaying The Last of Us.
Bruh, I'm starting that shit this week.
I saw the trailer for The Last of Us 2, and I'm just like, yeah, I need that shit. Like,
yes,
I need that
yes,
shit.
you do.
So I just started replaying the first one. And my stupid ass, I didn't even realize the last time I played it the PS3 version. I didn't even realize I have the PS4 remastered version, where the controls are so much more slick and less choppy than it was. World of difference. World of difference.
Honestly, like, this is a perfect example of when people talk about video games and they try, oh, they're for kids and, oh, you're being childish. Video games, that is, to me, it is the height of art. Like, you have music in there. The same type of musical elements that you would see in any movie, any TV show to help play into the situation. You have, in something like The Last of Us, so cinematic, the dialogue, the atmosphere that they create with the stage design, the character design and shit like that. But the added effect here in gaming is interactivity. You can't get that in a movie. I can watch a scary movie, a horror movie, whatever. I can watch that all day. I'm never going to fucking play Dead Space. Ever. That shit is terrifying, and I'm not fucking doing it.
I think I only played the demo.
That interactivity is a whole nother level.
Yeah, I played the demo for Dead Space, and it seemed definitely cool, but not really my thing. Now, the reason why I wanted you to reintroduce yourself is because a lot of our fan base, a lot of people who watch us, they come from Love War Challenges and the challenge community.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
what's more interesting about that? Thank you. We try. Now, what's interesting about that is today we have a headline coming from my world, the challenge world, and that is going to be Dee Nguyen and Taylor Selfridge getting bounced out of MTV. Now, world of difference, and we're going to speak how these two, they both came around the same time. Taylor, who was on Teen Mom and was on X on the Beach, she got bounced out.
Okay.
She got bounced out because of racist tweets from 2012.
Whoops.
She said things like, my uncle is getting married to an Asian, tell Aunt Ping Ping to make me some sushi. Or, I don't serve black people when they come in because black people scare me. Just dumb shit,
Can we a timeout here. If you're gonna be racist towards Asians, can you get this shit right, please? Shit.
So that's her. That's Taylor. She is the second baby mother of somebody who is on the challenge. Now, the person from the challenge, Dee Nguyen, she came in pretty timid from Geordie Shore. She's from Australia and Asian.
Okay.
She started off timid her first season. She won her second season, and she came into a third season as, I'm the shit. You can't touch me. Fuck you. I'm mad. Whatever. I'm the boss. Very interesting TV. Definitely came out as a new TV villain. She gets into it with Bailey from Big Brother. And she didn't say anything racist, but she said stuff that was insensitive to the Black Lives Movement. Something like along the lines like, I've been screaming Black Lives Matter since I lost my virginity. And pretty much she said the nice equivalent of, y'all talk about Black Lives Matter, but niggas die every day. Y'all don't know me. I hustle. It kind of made it about herself. Not racist, but insensitive. Now, the third element to this, where I've been screaming out online for a long time, is that there's a guy named Jordan. He's been on the channel several seasons, highly efficient. He has won 3 out of like the 4 seasons he's been on, 3 out of 5 now. He has a mangled hand from a birth defect, but he got into a screaming tirade with a black girl back in 2012. The same time where Taylor's tweets happened, but this was on the show, on the Real World Portland. And it was disgusting.
Oh, shit, I think I remember that.
So very hard to forget. People was always saying like, you guys always go in the past, you're digging up stuff in the past. I remember watching that on TV. I'm not going to say traumatic, but it was something I never forgot. Couldn't believe that he's still on TV. So, mainly what I want to talk to you with is about Dee. Now with Taylor, this was a storyline on Teen Mom this season. Of the first baby mother from this guy, it was a storyline. She had to address these tweets because his first baby mother is black. And she addressed these tweets. Shit. She explained herself. And I think she has shown the most amount of growth and how understanding what she did was wrong. And kind of moved on for that. Now, there was a couple of incidents, not really racially speaking. Jordan, this other guy, has no repercussions whatsoever. And Dee and Taylor has both been fired from MTV. MTV has severed all ties. Now, you're on the outside. You're not a challenge fan. You don't know all the intricacies that come to this.
I do not.
As an outsider and as an African-American male, how does this sit with you?
Well, we all know that there are different rules for white males. Let's just start there. And a lot of times, not to say that white women don't also experience white privilege, but that book was written for and by white men, right? So what we see here is a situation where he exercises that. And not purposely, but just by the luck of the draw, him being a white male, he gets a pass. Now, it is very difficult because of how long we have gone unheard. We have been disrespected and dismissed. Even, and this may not be right, but even when you apologize, no one fucking cares at this point. Like, you pretty much just got to be on your P's and Q's at all times. And if you said something crazy at some point in time, you have to be the first to address it. You can never let yourself get called out. When you see shit going on, you have to be like, yo, back in 2012, 2011, 2010, I don't fucking care, 95. Like, yo, I said some wild shit back then about XYZ. I fully own up to it. I did this. However, I'm better, blah, 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 blah. Once you get called out, it's already too late. Because to the general audience, especially me, now, like you said, I don't know shit about these people. I don't watch the challenge. I don't know their backgrounds, nothing. All I'm hearing is this news about people getting kicked off the show for shit they did in the past. So to me, it sounds like you got called out and now you backpedaling trying to, keep yourself on the show. So
now let me break down a couple of intricacies about it.
Go for it.
The 2 ladies got booted off the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the white girl Taylor had these tweets from the past, and it has been addressed on TV. And
when was it addressed on TV?
This season of Teen Mom. The Jordan thing has never been addressed. And I think you said it best. I called for his job. I called him out. I put up stuff on Twitter. The main thing is...
Yeah, I know you're good for that.
The main thing about it is I felt like it hasn't really been addressed. I felt like we haven't really got an explanation. I'm really interested to see what does he have to say about it now. And it just seems like it's being swept under the rug. Meanwhile, these women has been booted. And with Dee, she didn't even say anything racist. She just said something...
she said some dickhead shit.
She said some dickhead shit, insensitive shit.
Right.
And one, I believe because Taylor has addressed it, has owned up to it, explained it, and made nice with some of the people who she offended, I thought that was kind of okay. Dee shit was insensitive. She's been booted with no warning, no nothing. You are just gone. I thought it was a little heavy-handed, but I'm okay with it because it sets the tone. But people like Jordan, where it hasn't been addressed, it hasn't been apologized for, it was years ago, have seen no repercussions. Now, I heard something that he might get a couple of seasons off, but is being very much kept under the rug, under the wraps, and they want it to be blown over. You see how all three of these are slightly different on different levels of good and bad, but...
Right. Honestly... And this is what we need. We need some level of uniformity to this shit.
Thank you.
I think that's what we're missing here. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what level you are, how long you've been on the show, whatever. Like, if one person's gonna get booted for this, everybody got to get booted for this. Or if one person got to do an apology before they can come back, then everybody got to do an apology before coming back. Like, there has to be some type of uniformity to the punishments that they're going to hand out here.
And what I feel with the ladies is, all right, they got booted, and I am okay with that. But I felt like they felt more bad about it. They were more sorry. They definitely showed more remorse. I think they could have benefited more from being side to side. You got to go through some training. You got to listen to this. You got to do certain things to show that you are over these prejudices and this way of thinking. And I felt like it was a better educational moment than booting. While Jordan, I feel like what he did was more egregious and more wrong, and it hasn't really been addressed and swept under the rug. I would have much more preferred to see it heavy-handed that way than it was on the ladies.
Now, what I would like to see, and I think the challenge is a perfect place for this. The best punishment that you could have for somebody who wants to be racist, they have to answer to the people on the show. Because there's black people on the show. So you got to stand there in front of your peers, in front of your colleagues, because it's a competition and shit. But I mean, y'all all here making money off this show. I want to see you on national television fess up to, address, acknowledge, and show remorse for what you did in front of the very type of people that you hurt. I would love to see that. And I think it would... It's a difficult line to walk, but I think it could be a very teachable moment for the entire audience. It's like, you might have fucked up. People fuck up.
People fuck up, and nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes, and people should be able to learn from them and move forward. And
yes,
that's why I wanted to segue into next is cancel culture, because I called for Jordan's job. And now that I take a step back and kind of look for it, I'm kind of less rah-rah, fire them, burn everything down. I think it's more beneficial to teach people. And if you're on public, teach them in public. Have them stand up to this stuff in public. And I feel like that's something that I can do better as a person and as a podcaster. And stop being less rah-rah and inflammatory and be more of what are we going to do for people to learn their lesson in the present and for the future, because we can't change anything about the past.
Okay, so this is fantastic because we are finally on opposite sides of something.
Really? Because that was me looking inward, like, I'm always just, fire this person, they need to take them down. And I look inward, I'm just like, well, maybe I'm just a little wrong, and maybe I'm going too hard. Maybe we should give him a chance. And you feel opposite?
I feel opposite because for Americans specifically. Fuck your education. Like, we're not talking about teenagers here. We're not talking about kids here. We are talking about adults. We are talking about people who are out here in the public eye, and I will forever fucking hate Charles Barkley until the day I die for the I'm not a role model shit. Once you are in the public eye, that is part of the fucking job. Once you have this many, honestly, even in your personal life, if you have any impressionable eyes on you at any point in time, if you are an uncle, a grandparent, a friend of a friend who's got kids, whatever, you are constantly a role model, whether you want to be or not. And not to say that people can't be themselves, because please do that so that we know you're a dickhead and we can get you the fuck out of the paint. But you need to be mindful of that shit. And it's something that you need to operate knowing that what you do affects the perspective of the people who are watching. Now, I wouldn't say off top, like, cancel culture is good. It is not. And I say it's not good because people don't do it right. People love to get all rah-rah and, oh, cancel this person, cancel this person. You know who you can't cancel? Someone you weren't watching to begin with. You have no fucking effect on their bottom line. Now, I don't watch the challenge. So for me to get all rah-rah about this Jordan dude means fucking nothing. I'm not affecting this because I'm not watching the show. It doesn't matter. They're not losing anything by upsetting me. And I've seen that time and time again. People, a couple years ago, people were mad at, I want to say, Bill Maher. And, you know,
always mad at Bill Maher.
Right. Cancel Bill Maher. I'm like, yo, y'all weren't watching him to begin with. How can you cancel him? And then they call for canceling this person and that person, or this party's over, or that person's over.
Bill Maher has been canceled so many times. Remember, the original show was politically incorrect, and it used to come on like ABC. And he was way more wild back then. Then they moved him to HBO, and they let him say whatever the fuck he wanted to say. I like Bill Maher. He's not perfect, and he makes a lot of mistakes, and sometimes he says the wrong shit. But still love him, because even if it's wrong shit, he'll at least explain, you know, this is my thought process on it, and this is why I feel the way it is. I understand you disagree, but, you know, whatever. But that's because Bill Maher is reasonably intelligent, and he can speak on these things in an intelligent way, at least intelligent enough where you may not agree with me or think that I'm wrong, but you can at least respect why I think this way.
Exactly.
We are relying on reality TV stars to do that, and they just cannot. And this is why I kind of lightened my stance in the past couple of days a little bit.
But you can't. But you can't. And you can't because if these people, let's say, okay, they're not Dennis Miller, they're not Bill Maher, they're not, you know, Kelsey Grammer, they're not these intellectual people, whatever, fine, no problem. Then let's stop fucking putting them in front of millions of people. Let's raise the standard.
Now, I got somebody in the chat. They just said, hold on, let me scroll up and find their name.
Yes, let's get it.
Jennifer, she says, multiple challengers said ignorant, racist comments, but they're going too hard on the women. They need to hold men accountable too, which I do agree. But also says if we go back in time to every challenger, at some point they all said something stupid or done something stupid. If we cancel everybody for these same reasons, then we don't have a show. And I do think that that's expendable to a lot of different things. Everybody has said, fam, 224 The Basement is based on us in your basement saying nothing but wild shit.
Unacceptable shit.
100% completely.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could pick any day of the week. If you put a mic in there, we're all canceled.
Okay, but here's the difference, and I wish people would. We are the perfect people to talk about this because we are what I call the Ghost Rider generation.
All right.
We ride both sides, right? So we know a world without technology, without all the social media and all of this shit.
Right.
We know a world where if you said something at some point you're gonna bump into the person you said that shit about, and you're gonna have to answer for that shit. We have all had them situations.
Oh yeah.
So, Gregor, god damn it.
Big shout out to my boy Matrix. He got the Hit List podcast on Facebook. Hey, how are you guys? You guys are cool, right? You guys are straight, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's mad long ago.
Yeah. No. He's a fantastic human being, and I'm not just saying that because he washed me.
We all got washed at some point.
Right. Everybody got to take an L. I got mine, and I deserved it. But no. So like the thing is, not everything's meant for social media. Sometimes if you need to learn at home. Say the wrong thing to the right person. Now, okay, for those people who don't know, like I said, I'm a conversational English tutor, right? I talk to people all around the world, helping them improve their English, helping them sound more natural, more casual, understand slang, blah, 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 blah. When I talk to them, I tell them all the time, listen, this is your safe space. This is the opportunity for you to ask all the questions that you're not comfortable asking someone else. If you need to understand racism, if you need to understand black culture, if you need to understand why my president is, ask me, and let's work this out. Because I don't want you to come to America, or God forbid you work for a Western company or something, and you say something wild in a meeting thinking it's cool and it's a joke, and you get fired. Like, I don't want that. So it's like there's a level of education that's necessary to understand, like, maybe I shouldn't put this on Instagram. Maybe this rant that I have doesn't need to go out to the entire world. Maybe I should talk about this with my parents or my friends, and maybe they can point me in the right direction and tell me I'm an asshole before I ruin my fucking life on the internet. I'm just saying.
That's another thing. It'd be totally different. Was it Donald Sterling? Donald Sterling used to be the owner of the Clippers.
Yes.
In the privacy of his own home, a ex-girlfriend recorded him, tried to extort him, and use a taping of him saying multiple racist stuff. And that was used against him. He had to sell his team. He's been bounced out of the NBA. Right?
Yes.
Is he racist? Yes. Is he fucked up? Yes. What I didn't like about that is he's in the privacy of his own home. Now, it'd be totally different. Don't get me wrong. It was wrong. I'm totally fine with the outcome. He deserved everything that he got plus more. But, like I said, in the basement, where we all wild out, said crazy things, we knew we could say these things here, and it wasn't being presented outside. When you are racist on TV, when you are racist on Twitter, you have put that out there. You have shown the world this. And I'm okay with that being used for you to be held accountable. Accountable.
Absolutely. Without question.
Let me ask
Without fucking question.
One more question before we move on. When it comes to the cancel culture, do you think, I think the biggest problem that people have with cancel culture is when people outside of the community being heard of, or the community that's invested in this situation, I think that's where it can go wrong. Like the whole Jordan being racist on the challenge. I think if people who watch the challenge and black people who watch the challenge, when they call for the canceling, I think it makes sense. Now, when it's everybody from all over the place just jumping on the cancel, that's why I think things can go wrong, and that's where the cancel culture is wrong there. How do you feel about that?
I absolutely agree. I think you need to, and this, we're not police. We can fucking deal with our own shit within our communities. You have to leave it up to those fandoms. You have to leave it up to the people who are within that world. And one thing I think people, I don't know if they've forgotten it or if they just never knew it, but you can just ignore people, right? Like, people always complain about this one particular black woman in politics.
I already know who you're talking about.
And I'm not, see, this is who I am. I'm the guy who doesn't say names. Because If you know, you know. Cool, no problem. If you don't know, I don't want you looking this bitch up. And she's a bitch. I'm not saying it to be sexist. I'm not saying it to be an asshole. She is a fucking bitch. There's a stronger word I could use, but I'm not Australian and I don't feel comfortable using it. So we'll just stick with bitch. This is the type of person that if you just ignore them, what can they do? Cars need gas to go, and all you motherfuckers want to do is gas these people up. Just stop talking about them.
I love that approach because several times I have taken that approach. Jason Whitlock from Fox Sports. I forget the girl's name, Caitlin something. She was that girl that was took the graduation photos with the gun on her back. Or the guy, or Joey something, the guy who drank his own piss. These are all people who I just block and never talk about. I'm going to send you the link. It's some right-wing guy who drank his own piss in a video once. And now,
why?
You know what? I never understood the context of where that came from, but it happened.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's break this up. Let's talk about something a little bit. Damn, now that I think about it, this isn't more lighthearted. But let's go ahead and get into our album review. It was your week today, and kudos to you. Tell us about your pick for music.
So I chose RTJ4, Run the Jewels 4. And bruh, I have never been so pleased. I have never been so proud of a pick in my life. Like, how could I describe this? It's new old school. That's how I'll give it to you. The instrumentation used throughout the album is unique. It gives you a vibe. It has energy to it. But I feel like, and I'm not a club person by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like it's still something bass heavy enough that you could dance to. You know, you can still have a good time to this. But if you take the time to listen to the lyrics, to actually hear what they rapping about, bruh, bars for fucking days. And I'll say once you reach track 4, track 1 through 3 is like, it's okay. You know, it's like they're warming up. You know, the band is tuning up their instruments and shit.
I don't know, man. Track 2 is a new classic. That Ooh La La with Greg Nice on it. Ooh,
this shit is hard.
This
shit is hard. But I feel like once you hit track 4 and on, there is this consciousness, this uniformity of thought that goes back and forth between the two of them. And it's, fuck, man. Like, this shit is going in the rotation. Easy. Like, they got something special here. Like, this Run the Jewel shit is hard.
Absolutely. God, I mean, I don't know if you guys are clairvoyant, but this is the right album for the right time with everything that's going on in America.
Without question.
The sound is great because the sound is based on that old school 90s boom bap hip hop, but it still has very updated elements, and that's going to be the trap percussion and everything that goes with it. And the bars are directly on point. This is a black version of Rage Against the Machine, and it's funny because Zach De La Rocha is on this album.
It's on one of the tracks. Yes.
with Pharrell, too. It is conscious, and it sounds good. It reminds me a lot of, like, stuff that Nas used to put out, was very conscious, but very also entertaining. I'm glad that they did not sacrifice the content of the music to make it more enjoyable. This is very much in your face, and it very much talks about uncomfortable subject matter that they've always talked about. And it just seems like this is the actual battleground of everything that, you know, RTJ 1, 2, and 3 was building up to. I love it. I would love to get more deeply into some of the tracks. Some of my favorite was Goonies versus E.T. and the last track, a few words for the Firing Squad, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
Oh my God!
It's just great through and through. I can't suggest this album more, especially at this time. This is the right album for the right time. it's hard to see a album come out at such a time where it seems like it's needed. Like this is the needed album for everything we're dealing with in this country right now.
And honestly, like I feel like they had the perfect balance between, I mean, the flows that you hear throughout this album are so hypnotic that you could listen to it one time and just kind of like tone out the words and just listen to how they're saying it, what their cadence is. And that becomes one vibe. And then you go back and you listen to it again and actually focus on each word, focus on what they're saying, what they're talking about. And that's another vibe. Like, there's so much that you could get out of this fucking album. And I mean, I want to give them all the credit in the world because I don't feel like that was unintentional. I feel like they did everything they did to reach as many ears as possible. But it almost feels so effortless that you're just like, I don't even think they realize what they did here. Like this shit is hard. This shit is hard. I feel like if you're listening to our voices right now, this is some shit that you need to check out without question. If you find it difficult to understand the lyrics and things like that, please genius.com, hit them up, read along, have a fucking party with the shit, have a little Zoom conference, some Skype parties or something, talk amongst yourselves. And yeah, this album.
It's it. I definitely agree with you. When I listen to the album, I listen to it 3 times in a row, just back to back, all with a different vibe. Understanding all of the musical notes and percussion and melodies, and then, you know, just the words, and then just overall. And I found it enjoyable all 3 times through. This album is amazing. Go ahead, go pick it up. You'll love it. And if you don't, that's
a you problem.
Yeah, that's a you problem. This is the right album for the right time. All right. So before we go ahead and jump into the movie, you had a you gave me something else, and usually we'll stick to the movies and music, but you sent me something. You just like, hey, Dave Chappelle came out with a new special. It's not super long. Need to check it out, called 846, and it's like right on YouTube. Netflix put it up, and I'm like, yeah, I heard somebody say something about it. I'm going to check it out. So I wanted to check it out immediately. But normally when I have something when I'm going to watch something that has some gravitas or something that's going to be important, I always try to make sure that I pull the girlfriend along and too. Like, hey, Dave Chappelle came up with some new shit. Heard it's supposed to be really, really great. Just came out a couple hours ago. Let's go check it out. So I had to wait for her.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's one of those things like, oh, you know, I'm going to take a quick shower real quick. We'll watch right after. You know, I come out like an hour and a half
later.
Hour and a half later, I'm like, why are you doing your nails? Like, bring your ass in here. And so we watched it. And like 3 minutes into it, I was just like, all right, this isn't normal Dave Chappelle.
Nope.
No, I'm sorry, this isn't like past Dave Chappelle. This is going to be less ha-ha funny and more introspective. And it was right on the money. I love this version of Dave Chappelle. First off, still funny. Still, I love Dave Chappelle because he doesn't have all of the confidence in the world. He heard say one time, still with me? Am I boring you? This isn't that funny, is it? And I love how self-aware he is when it comes to those things. And it really shows just how human he can be. But most importantly, I love the anger that he had. The anger that he had that pretty much encapsulates the anger that everybody feels. And I just loved everything about it. I think he just felt a certain kind of way, and he just felt it was cathartic for him to get this out. And I thought it was great just to soak it all in. Even more better, I think it's great for everybody to soak in where everybody can enjoy it. Not just the black people, not just the social justice warriors, not just fans of comedy. I feel like this is something everybody can relate to. And I felt like he did a really good job of humanizing and making palatable the anger that African Americans are feeling so much right now and that we have felt for so long.
Honestly, like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Rook actually put me on. He hit me up and he was like, yo, you know, did you check out this Dave Chappelle joint? And I'm like, you know, what's it on? And he was like, yo, it's on YouTube. I was like, all right, cool. I'll be back in 30 minutes. And as soon as he sent it to me, I immediately watched it. And I was about 3/4 of the way through it. And I messaged him back and I was like, bro, this is kind of hard to watch. Like, the way that it's one thing to see these incidences one by one by one, have time to process them as best you can, and try to move forward. The way he broke everything down, the way he basically gave like a timeline of shit, and the way that he tied his own personal life into shit, my chest hurt. Like literally, I was sitting there and I remember distinctly feeling this tightness in my chest. And I couldn't tell if it was a sadness or an anger or some combination of the two. More than likely a combination of the two. The way that he delivered this, I felt like I was watching, I could have been watching my uncle, honestly. Like, I felt like this was a conversation that was being had at some family function, and like the music had to be stopped. Like, yo, turn that off. You know, we talking right now. And the way that he broke it all down, I feel like really put everything in perspective. And like you said, it's not just for us. It's not just for Dave Chappelle fans. It's not just for comedy fans. This is something I feel everyone needs to see, especially those who don't understand what's going on right now. They need to see that, because his experiences and the way, again, that he tied his personal life into the things that were happening, we all have individual stories like that. We all have individual stories of why this hurt more than something else. I saw myself in this person. I saw my uncle, my brother, my father, my grandfather. I saw someone I know and love in this person that was lost, that was murdered. And I think that's very important for people who are still kind of on the fence and don't understand why what's happening is happening. Watch this shit.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. And I'm very glad I was able to check it out. Very glad that I was able to show Wifey this. It's definitely something for everybody to enjoy. And it's Dave Chappelle. Like, I mean, he doesn't need us pumping him up. But,
right.
You know, I just want to make sure anybody who knows me or that I'm connected to knows that this is something you need to go check out. It can be something easy to miss because it wasn't rolled out on a huge platform. Not that YouTube is a big platform, but, you know, not the fanfare. These things
this was definitely under the radar.
Yeah, these things get spread through word of mouth. So I'm just making sure I do my job.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So, still your week, and you picked a movie. Now, normally I get on you for your movie and music choices. Sometimes they're really far out there.
Right. And because I'm out there.
Right. And this is the second time you picked a movie that I have already seen. So, tell us about the pick of your movie this week.
So I chose the 13th. Well, 13th. Apparently there is no the. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Super threw me off.
Right. So I picked 13th on Netflix. It is titled after the 13th Amendment, which is what actually freed the slaves, which it's what made it legal, actually on the books, that slavery was abolished. Unfortunately, and what a lot of people don't know, is that there is a form of neo-slavery through the private prison system. And that is what this documentary goes in depth on. And again, it is a difficult watch. I don't suggest you watch this while drinking. I pray to God you're not in the middle of a good time when you turn this on. It is a difficult watch. Seeing the realities of what the greatest country in the world, what the freest country in the world does to its own citizens in the pursuit of money is, quite simply put, heartbreaking. However, I chose this because given the situation that we are currently in, given the situations that we have been over the past well, I don't know, a couple centuries. I feel like this is something that people need to be aware of. And it is something that you need to understand when Black people speak of the prison system, the justice system, and how we are taken advantage of. It goes so much deeper than just the ones who are murdered. It goes to the ones who are kept alive and the ones who are in prison for nonviolent crimes, first offenses, and left to sit for a year or more without ever seeing trial. And in that year, they are working for pennies, pennies on the dollar, providing services and providing products that are making others millions. And not enough people know about this. So please, 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 if you would like to educate yourself on one of the many, many ways that we are systematically kept down, please check out I always want to say the 13th. It just rolls off the tongue better. Whatever. Check out 13th on Netflix.
So I remember when this documentary first came out, and this is by Ava Duvernay. She did Selma, and she did When They See Us on Netflix. Another powerful movie about the
I need to watch that
TV show about the Central Park Five.
Yeah.
Who Donald Trump called for their murder, even though they were innocent.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes. Happy Obama Appreciation Day.
Yes, there we go. Yes, yes.
The 13th was great. I love it. Being for the fact that, I've had those steel bracelets placed on me before, this is something that is a great interest of me. It touched on a lot of things that I think a lot of people are able to overlook. One of them is a lot of people loved Bill Clinton. They love Bill Clinton. A lot of people even went so far as call him as the first Black president. And right. Bill Clinton was, I definitely like Bill Clinton. He was the first Democratic president we had in a long time. He did do a lot of good things. But one of the things that he doesn't get enough credit for is that due to his policies, a lot of Black people was locked up.
Absolutely.
That whole, and I love how they broke down how tough on crime really means tough on minorities.
Absolutely.
And it completely broke down the financial structure of the prison industrial complex. It is not fair to us. We do not get the same treatment as white people do. We are treated worse, and it affects our whole lives. Not just even the person who is going to jail, but all of the people around it. It sucks all of the money through bail and through lawyers. All of this is wrong. All of it needs to be reformed. And they touch on this. And 13th, this is not new. This is not a new documentary. This documentary has been out for years.
I first saw it years ago. And I just thought about it, given, again, the temperature in the room right now was like, nah, this is something that needs to be brought up. This is something that needs to be brought to people's attention, because this is amongst the many things that people are currently fighting for right now.
Exactly. I do believe bail reform is one of my favorite topics, because I personally have played out the shit just because, hey, I need to get out of this box. I need to get my freedom back. I need to go to work. I need to be there for, my friends and family. And bail is set up to pretty much, you're going to stay in jail if you're poor. If you're poor, if you don't have money, you guys, I had to bail myself out. I mean, I got it's a lot. I mean, I've been taxed with, over $100K in bail. So bail needs to go. What I believe is that not just in America, worldwide, all of the profit from jails need to be abolished. Nobody should be able to make any money off of jail at all.
Absolutely.
It should be state-run. And I get it. People are like, oh, we don't want the state to run it because they're going to run it cheaply and it's going to be bad. The prisoners are better off in private military, in private prisons.
Private prisons.
Fuck that. If nobody makes money off of jails, then it won't be this huge need to fill them up all the time.
And this is again something I have to explain to my students. Like I say, like, yeah, some prisons are owned by private citizens or private groups, and it's difficult for them to understand. That concept doesn't make sense. Why would you own a prison? And I'm like, well, let me tell you. If you have a prison, you need to make money. How do you make money? You keep it full. Well, how do you keep it full? Well, you gotta arrest people. What happens if people aren't doing anything? Well, you fucking find a way to pin them for shit, and you put them in the box. And what is so interesting to me is we are innocent until proven guilty. So then why am I sitting in a fucking box when I haven't seen a judge? No one's proven me guilty. Why am I here? It doesn't make fucking sense by the language. We all chose to use English. That's our thing. That's what we do. So by the words and the way they're structured, this shit doesn't make any fucking sense on a fundamental level. And it needs to be fixed.
Absolutely. I think 13th did a great job at addressing these major outstanding issues that have to deal with the industrial prison complex. I think it's definitely a must-see, especially in this day and age. Go see 13th by Ava Duvernay on Netflix.
Yes.
All right.
Salute to that.
That's going to be the show, but this is why I like to take it down to a little place called Choo Choo
Choo.
Recommendation Station.
All yes.
Right. I went first last week. Well, we didn't have it last week, which is the first time we didn't do Recommendation Station, but I felt like it was appropriate. But the week before, I went first, so now it's your turn. I think whoever's week it is should go first on Recommendation Station.
I like that. I'll go with that.
So what do you have for our listeners this week?
Oh, fuck. I feel like I had something, too. Maybe I shouldn't drink while we're doing this.
Maybe write it down or text it before.
Right.
These things work.
Fuck. Totally would work. Okay. But anyway, all right. So everything's been like super negative lately. So allow me to bring a little comedy into your life, right? So on YouTube, there is this fantastic group of people called Team 4-Star. They do this little series called Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I tell you, this is some of the greatest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Essentially, what they do is they take the show. They take the Dragon Ball Z show. They cut it down. You know, it's not full 30-minute episodes. They cut it down to maybe 12 to 15-minute episodes, giving you the major plot points, but all new voice acting and just some of the realest shit that you've always had a problem with within the show. For instance, Goku is a fucking idiot. We all know this. He is a terrible father. Debate me, bro. In the show, in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, they acknowledge the fact that Piccolo is, one, not only basically black, but Gohan's stepfather.
Pretty much.
I love that shit. I fucking love that shit. There are so many little things that they touch on throughout, little jokes from not only the original series, but new things that are created, not just in the Dragon Ball Z series, unfortunately, which it only goes up to the Cell Saga. They didn't do the Buu Saga, which is very sad, and they had a whole video about why, but whatever. But they also do many of the Dragon Ball Z movies as well, including the Broly movie, which, in my opinion,
the
is
new
one
or
of
the
the
old
best.
one?
They did the old one. There is another group that actually did the new one, which is actually pretty good.
I haven't seen all of the new one. I've probably seen like the first 30 minutes. I never finished it.
Bro.
I never finished that or Resurrection. I am so, but I haven't watched anything Dragon Ball Z seriously since GT first came out on like Toonami.
Oh.
So I have not seen anything with Dragon Ball Super. I have not seen anything with any of the new movies, even Resurrection F. I haven't seen.
I am a combination of sad and excited. I am sad because you have not seen these things, but I am excited because you have so much to look forward to. It's so great. My God. But yes, Dragon Ball Z Abridged. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, it is a hilariously fantastic way to rewatch the series without sitting through those 5 minutes on Namek that take a lifetime. And if you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, it is, I think, an interesting introduction to the series and will probably make your first watch of the real series very interesting.
I'm very interested in this, and I want you to send me a link ASAP so we can go ahead and put it out on our Twitter and our Facebook. Definitely looks super interesting. I definitely want to check it out.
Okay, I got you.
All right, my recommendation is a little bit different. I'm recognizing I don't want to say a website or an institute, but it's called Udemy, Udemy. And what it is a bunch of courses on pretty much anything you can think of. Yes. I recently bought a camera, a Canon M50. Right now I'm dumping a whole bunch of money into lenses and equipment, a whole bunch of cool shit as I'm taking up photography. And it has been extremely, extremely helpful. They send you documentation. They have videos. They have lists of stuff for you just to learn anything. And from the amount that I learned in such a short period of time about photography, they also have these courses on cooking, on filmmaking, on just about anything you can think of. A lot of them are reasonably priced. A lot of them are easily found on the internet if you know where to look.
YouTube.
Not really on YouTube, but there's other places you could download them from because it's a cost thing. You do have to pay. Now, a lot of them are cheap. They usually have wonderful sales. So a lot of them you can get in for 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks, some 50, some 100, depending on what it is or who's doing it. But I suggest that to check it out. If it's something you really, really want to learn, then this might really be worth it. Now, you're not going to get you get like a certificate, but they're not really accredited by anybody. But if you're just taking it as something to learn, they might be able to teach you about a lot of things. Almost everything I learned from photography, which is a lot in a short period of time. I went from everything being unusable 3 weeks ago to now I'm putting together a portfolio of some pretty decent shit. So, and I did that in 3 weeks. 3 weeks of it's not like I'm sitting there studying. I'm just watching these videos and looking at this documentation every couple of days. And I went from completely unusable photography to I'm just playing around to it to actually having skills that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Nice. Yeah, now you can't beat that. Education is going to last forever. So,
yo, these are facts. These are facts. That's what I learned during quarantine. So,
nice.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us while we get to shoot the shit, talk about stuff that's important to us. I know the past couple of episodes, we have talked about some very, very serious things. Hopefully, we'll get to some more fun stuff, but these are the things that's going to be important to us, and we want to share these things with you, at least share our point of view of some of these things. I know we're always not right. I know we may not always have the best perspective on things, but these things are ours. If you were entertained by this, we appreciate it. If you agree with it, cool. We do have the chats up, so no matter if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, we get to see everything you guys type. I love being able to interact with you guys. Hopefully, we could do it more in the future. That's going
definitely
to do
shout
it for
out
us.
to Jennifer for chiming in while we were doing the show.
Yeah, Jennifer,
super appreciate you.
Oh wait, are you seeing these things too?
I am not. I'm just going by what you said because I have a good memory.
I send you the thing so you see the chat. I meant to do that at Love Word Challenges. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Malik_MTV. Make sure you follow ACE at
Ace Metaphor on Instagram and Ace of Spades 1245 on Twitter.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.